Good morning, everyone. Welcome to BYJU'S Exam Prep. My name is Alpa Sharma, and this is our daily editorial analysis. Can you hear and see me clearly, everyone? Good morning, Ashita. Am I clearly visible and audible? Yes, clearly visible and audible. All right. I bought two articles today, but I'll tell you later on what I'm going to do with that and where the articles are from. But before that, if you're targeting the crash course for CLAT 22, a batch 3 for this examination, crash course has been launched. It is going to happen in May. So I'm sure you would want yourself to be enrolled at the earliest because you don't have any time left in your hands. So you shouldn't wait and enroll yourself at the earliest for this program. Also, if you're targeting CLAT 2023, a new batch for the foundation module has been launched where I'll be teaching English as well. So the CLAT that's happening in December, if that's what your target is, I would want you to be enrolled for this program at the earliest. And if you were targeting, yes. Okay, good morning, everyone. Okay, so if you're targeting MHCT, ALAT, SLAT, BLAT, JAMIA, these low entrance examinations, then batch 2 for this express course has been launched where we will be preparing you specifically for these low entrance examinations because their pattern is a little different from CLAT. So, जल्दी से enroll कर लो, wait नहीं करो, time बहुत कम है आपके पास. So what are we going to do today? We have stopped revising for some time now. We are going to take two articles. We will try to take two articles. I'll tell you why. Because both the articles that I've bought today are supremely lengthy and they need a lot of inference. So I'll make you a promise. If I am unable to take two articles today, I'll take one today and one tomorrow on Saturday. Because usually I don't have classes on Saturdays, but if I'm unable to finish two articles, because I think both are very important. So if I'm unable to finish one article, the second one today, I'll take one more class tomorrow 10 a.m. with the second article. Fair enough, everybody? We'll take out the vocabulary from both the articles. It's full of vocabulary. But I've made a lot of questions instead of putting them down in the vocabulary slides today. That's another change that I've done. Okay? I didn't get your question, Priya. Unable to score good marks in legal reasoning. What can I do? Kushi, I think I'll let the legal reasoning faculty answer this question. They'll be in a better position to answer this. I hope you understand this. Yes? Okay. So that's what we're going to do. We'll take out the vocabulary, but I haven't taken out a lot of vocabulary. The words are a lot. I've made a lot of questions. I'll ask you a lot of inference from the passages. In the end, you will not answer the tone of the author because I've got a question on tone from the first passage. So we'll be discussing the tone through the question that I give you. And in the end, you could write down the summary of the articles that we discuss under my video in the comment section. Lastly, we'll look at today's Hindu and Indian Express and we'll see what are the important articles we need to read from both the newspapers and what is that we can miss. A quote, okay, quote of the day. We actually, I had overhauled the entire series. I wanted to do some changes. So in the process of these changes, I started omitting the quote of the day. All right. So that's the reason. So this is what we're going to do today. And remember, the two articles that I've bought, one is from the Hindu and the other is from the Guardian. So these are the two things that we're going to do. Very likely today. If not today, I'll take another class tomorrow. Let's start with the words today. Okay. So the first word is utopian. We've done this word multiple times. It's an ideal world, a place where everything is perfect. That place is a utopian one. Of course, the antonym, we had done that in our previous classes. That's dystopian. Purva, I'll have to recall. I'm not really sure what you had written. I'll go and check it again after today's class, okay? So, yes, dystopian is full of suffering. Okay? Dystopian is the antonym. Exactly, dystopian is the antonym. Thank you, Ritik. Thank you, my child. So, cataclysmic. Such a situation which is a very unwelcome one that creates a havoc, a disaster, that one is a cataclysmic one. The content was cataclysmic failure, a very severe one, unwelcome one, having bad output is a cataclysmic one. So that's the second word. Disastrous, calamitous, yes, Saki. Both are synonyms to it. Ideal is a synonym to utopian. You're right, Anshul. Devastating, ठीक है? Blissful, utopian से related word है. Okay? Catastrophic हो गया cataclysmic का synonym. Okay? Next word for today's class. Eulogize. We did this word when we did the tone of the author. All praises is eulogize. Eulogy as the tone of the author can obviously be asked when you appreciate, highly appreciate somebody is eulogize. So he was eulogized as a rock star. Everybody praised him as a rock star. That's eulogize. Laudatory is a synonym to it. Insult is an antonym to it. Yes? Dire. Yes, cataclysmic का synonym हो गया dire. Yes, Shriya. Akansha, may God bless you with all the happiness in the world. May you achieve the best of the things life has to offer. May you get into your dream NLU. God bless you, my child. Extol, glorify, laudatory, admiring, praising, exalting, all are synonyms to eulogize. Correct. All are synonyms. Reverential, related one. See, my video team is also wishing you, Akansha. All right. Extol, acclaim, yes, Bhumika. Yes, synonym ho gaya. Hi, Ashutosh. All right, let's move on. Brawn. So, very manly, physical, strength, not very smart with the head, but very strong with the physique is brawn. Commando work requires much brain as brawn. So it requires both. But then usually brawn focuses on your physical strength than your mental one. That is brawn. Masculine is brawn. Okay? आपको कल ब्लॉक कर दिया था आपने बहुत कल बातें करी थी बेटा बहुत डिस्ट्रैक्शन किया था आपने इसलिए ब्लॉक किया आपको मैंने नहीं किया वीडियो टीम ने किया मेल शॉविनिस्ट तो देखो थोड़ा सा डिफरेंट हो गया वो तो अपनी सुपीरियरिटी दिखाना हो गया दैट अ मेल इज सुपीरियर ओके बट masculinity is brawn all right yes next one the last word for this slide subjugate subjugate is bringing under domination or control especially by conquest simple so when you actually supremely put pressure over somebody, control somebody because you are superior to them, that's subjugate. The invaders had soon subjugated most of the population. They had started controlling the population because they were at a superior position because of the war or maybe anything else. That's subjugation. Slide number 1. Jaldi se screenshot le lo and ask me if you have any doubts. Yes, dominant, yes, suppress, yes, correct. Encroaching is a related one, not a synonym exactly. Okay. Dominating, restrain, yes. Correct. Line number 2, everybody. Quell, quash, vanquish, conquer, or subjugate. बोल सकते हो, yes. All right. Okay, next slide. Slide number 2. Okay, so puerile is infantile, immature, childish, not acting in a very silly manner is puerile. So he was laughing at his puerile argument. A very silly one, not a very matured one, is a puerile one. Next, instigate. We did this word yesterday, I think, if I'm not wrong. So to instigate something, a reaction from somebody, or to actually either poke or pressurize somebody to give a reaction is instigating. They instigated a reign of terror. They actually started to ignite that, initiate that terror is instigating. Any doubts, anyone? Stimulate. Instigate, yes. Ignite, instigate, yes. Calopopurize is correct, Shivani. Babyish, yes. और बिंजर तो नहीं होगा. No. Trigger हो सकता है, provoke हो सकता है. Yes, these are synonyms. Correct. क्या समझ में नहीं आ रहा आपको आशुतोष? आप फर्स्ट टाइम आए हो क्लास में शायद इसलिए ऐसा हो रहा है. चलो मैं आपको बताती हूँ आपको करना क्या है. ये सारे वर्ड्स हैं जो मैं समझा रही हूँ जो आज आर्टिकल में डिस्कस होंगे. ठीक है, तो इनके मीनिंग्स है ये, और जो बच्चे इनके सिनोनिम्स बता रहे हैं आपसे मैं एक्सपेक्ट करती हूँ कि आप इन वर्ड्स को लिखें, इनके सिनोनिम्स भी लिखें और उनको रिवाइज करें. ये एडिटोरियल से निकले हुए वर्ड्स हैं. ओके आशुतोष, थोड़ा रेगुलरली आओगे, regularly for 2-3 days, you'll get a grasp of it, you'll get a hang of it. Next word. Okay, vacuous is no, very less thoughtfulness is vacuous. So he was displaying a vacuous mind, not thoughtful or not smart, maybe mindless one without even thinking about it is a vacuous one. Got that everybody? Abet for invoking, provoking, for instigate. Yes, Movies, you're right. Okay? Prachi, launch for instigate. It's a related one. You're right. Stubborn. Stubborn Shreya किसका बताया आपने? Expressionless is vacuous. Yes, you're right, Bhumika. You're right. Blank, opacity, devoid, void. Yes, all are synonyms. Empty. Correct. All are synonyms. Okay. Pontificate is you show yourself in a very superior manner, boastful about your thoughts and your achievements in a very pompous and dogmatic way. Dogmatic is, okay, I am superior and you have to follow what I ask you to do, is pontificate. So he was pontificating about art and history. Oh, I know so much about it and art and history is the best. Everyone should be following that because, and I am good at that. So being boastful and pompous and showy about that is pontificate. Showy is like synonym ho gaya. Got that everyone? It's okay. It's okay, Movies. You can just revise them. All are high frequency words that are right. That is right actually. सुप्रीमेसी बोल सकते हो बिल्कुल. मैम होता ये है कि जब पढ़ता हूं तो एक समय तक समझ आता है, बीच में कंफ्यूज हो जाता हूँ पढ़ते पढ़ते. तो जैसे मैं समझा रही हूँ उसमें भी कंफ्यूजन होता है बच्चे, क्योंकि मैं बहुत धीरे धीरे समझाती हूँ. तब समझ में आता है, तब भी कंफ्यूजन होता है. सौरभ, एक तो न्यूज़पेपर से रेगुलरली, दूसरी वर्ड पावर मेरी सी. ओके, तो बोस्टफुल हो सकता है. रिपोजिटरी, we did this word yesterday or day before yesterday. ये भी रिविजन हो गया. तो रिपोजिटरी में हाँ इनफैक्ट कल ही किया था. रिपोजिटरी is a place where you have a collection of data information. That's a repository. So the metadata will be aggregated in a repository. It will be stored, segregated, and a collection will be present there. The storage is a repository. Storage is a synonym to that. Egoist for pontificate बोल सकते हो. Preaching बोल सकते हो. Yes. Regard बोल सकते हो. Correct. Correct. Okay. So, yes, the next one. Arson. So, deliberately, जब आप किसी चीज को जानबूझ के आग लगा देते हो, that's arson. Okay. So, setting fire to something deliberately, which could be a public property, a private property, anything, setting fire to that deliberately and destroying it is arson. Police are treating the fire as arson. Somebody had deliberately done that, not by chance, but deliberately. That's arson. Slide number 2. Screenshot ले लो सब. बहुत सारे words हैं, बहुत सारे मैं लेके भी नहीं आई हूँ. Slides में से करेंगे. Okay. Storehouse for repository, you're right, Prachi. Compendium, depository, yes. Arsenal, yes. Cohort, gamut, yes. Sabotage for arson बोल सकते हो. कौन सा समझ में नहीं आया आपको? क्वांटिफिकेशन. मानो फिर से समझाती हूँ. क्वांटिफिकेशन देखो, क्वांटिफिकेशन होता है अपने कोई भी चीज जो बहुत दिखावे के साथ बताई जाती है, रियल शायद वैसा नहीं हो बट बहुत बढ़ा चढ़ा के शोई तरीके से दिखाई जाती है, वो होता है क्वांटिफिकेशन. ठीक है, तो आर्ट एंड हिस्ट्री के बारे में बहुत दिखावे के साथ उसने कोई चीज बताई, he was quantificating. about art and history. आए समझ में मनु आपको? Bombastic हो सकता है इसका synonym. हाँ श्रेया, that's right. थोड़ा सा लैक होता है कुछ सेकंड्स का. All right, चलिए आगे बढ़ते हैं. Slide number 2 is done. That's all. But बहुत सारा vocabulary slide से करेंगे, ठीक है? Okay, for all those people who joined me late, ये आर्टिकल है द हिंदू से. एक आर्टिकल और लेके आई हूँ फ्रॉम द गार्डियन. बट वेरी लाइकली आज वो आर्टिकल नहीं कर पाऊंगी मैं, क्योंकि ये अपने आप में बहुत लॉन्ग है, बहुत सारे क्वेश्चंस है इसमें. तो कल सैटरडे है, डिस्पाइट दैट आई हैव अ क्लास विद यू एट 10 AM विद द सेकंड आर्टिकल, बिकॉज मैं नहीं चाहती आप सेकंड आर्टिकल मिस करो जो मैं गार्डियन से लाई हूँ, बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है. तो कल भी क्लास करेंगे 10 AM. फेयर इनफ. स्टार्ट करते हैं विद दिस आर्टिकल. रीड द पेज. मैं कुछ नहीं बताऊंगी. जेन्युइन का सिनोनिम मार्क करो सबसे पहले. Read the page and contextual meaning. मैं कुछ नहीं समझाऊंगी आपको आज. It was a very nice one. So heartwarming, Violet. So heartwarming. और सिर्फ फिर से बता देती हूँ बच्चे, डेलिबरेटली आग लगा देना किसी चीज, ठीक है? ऑफ कोर्स इसके लिए आपको पेज पढ़ने का नीड नहीं था. The synonym to genuine is sincere. Certainly sincere. Yes, it certainly is sincere. अब remaining page पढ़ो, ठीक है? And it's sincere. ठीक है? Now remaining page पढ़ो. मुझे बताओ, why are the examples given? The answer could be any combination of any of these. A and B, A, B and C, all of them, none of them, A and D, D and A, any combination. You have to tell me the answer. Why this example given? Oh, Abhinav. Sadly, no. Okay. A, D, A, B, C and D. Oh, all of the above. सारे random options आ गए हैं. B and C. ठीक है? अच्छा, चलो let me alternate a little. अगर एक ही चूज करना होता तो कौन सा चूज करते? If you had to choose only one, which one would you have chosen? If you had to choose only one. If you had to choose only one, the answer would be B. Very high, Violet, very high chances. The answer would be B. Let's understand how. Okay. Now, he says news has just been on television screens and Putin has called off the war, expressed remorse at what he's done. That is, he feels sorry for what he's done attacking Ukraine, deeply regretted the horror he unleashed. Obviously, this situation is a hypothetical one for one reason. Okay? It's not real. He's imagining it. He has also publicly apologized for mass murders. ऐसा रशिया कभी कर सकता है? नहीं. रशिया, यूएसए, चाइना, ये लोग ऐसा नहीं कर सकते. पब्लिकली अपोलोजाइज करना क्या है? सॉरी फॉर द वॉर and for this suffering. This has a tremendous impact on other modern warrior politicians and George Bush. So ये जो decision Putin लेते हैं of calling off the war, it has an impact on other warrior politicians as well. For example, George Bush and Tony Blair both apologize after Putin does for the devastation they caused in Iraq. So after Putin is sorry, Bush and Blair also is sorry for the war happening, the destruction they had caused in Iraq. Suddenly, we humans are on the verge of a dramatic, revolutionary change in our perspective of the world and the way we think about ourselves. Of course, if something like this apology, this regret happens, the world would change. Yes. Now, this example is a hypothetical one, imagining what would happen if the regretting an apology happens from the side of Putin and Bush and Blair. The entire world would change. Option now, this example isn't given to show an analogy between Putin and Bush and Blair. The author does not want to show that all of these people are indulged into atrocities and wars. That's not why the examples are given. एक chronology बनाइए कि पहले पुतिन ने बोला sorry and then Bush follows and then Blair follows. What happens here? It's a hypothetical situation where that when people regret, what follows is a revolutionary change in the way we think about the world. So it's a hypothetical situation that shows what happens when remorse comes into the mind of these atrocious people. Got that, people? Everyone? Now, why not D? I'll eliminate that. Yes? Okay, now let's look at D. To show that devastation is not the way. एक बात बताओ, devastation खराब है. उन्होंने जो किया वो गलत किया. ये कहां से इन्फर कर रहे हो आप? आगे हो सकता है ऑथर ये बताना चाहे कि ये किया तो इससे ये इम्पैक्ट हुआ, ये गलत है, आपको वॉर नहीं करना चाहिए, आपको पीस चाहिए. हो सकता है आगे कंटिन्यू करे ऑथर, लेकिन अभी उसने क्या एग्जांपल इसलिए बताया कि वॉर गलत है या ये बताने के लिए कैन आई से ये जो लाइन है ये एक कंक्लूजन है जो इस पैराग्राफ से निकल रहा है. यस और नो. So if this line is a conclusion that I'm drawing out of this paragraph, how can you conclude that devastation is not the way? It is talking about remorse only. And when somebody has remorse in the mind, that changes how you look at the world. Got that, people? Why is D wrong? Only this example. Tanu, because you don't know what follows in the passage. You don't know that yet. If you are given this question in the end of the passage, you would infer the answer from the whole passage. But if it is given only after this page, this is the only data that you have. That's where you have to infer from. Got that, people? Yes. So the answer is only B. Still buffering? No buffer. Okay. आशुतोष मैं 22 के बैच में कम बैचेस में, मैं मोस्टली 23 के बैचेस. ओके, आगे बढ़ते हैं. ठीक है, fill in the blank. Fill in the blank. That's going to be utopian. Yes. ये imagine करना that Putin does it and Bush does it and Blair does it. It's only a utopian imagination. That may not necessarily be true. Yes, that's a utopian imagination. Okay? To take flight despite of the ongoing brutal war that impacts the entire world. Hardly a good time for moral self-indulgence. Yet I feel justified. He says, there's a war going on. I can't be just imagining a utopian world. It's not justified. Yet I feel imagining a utopian world is justified because something like this has occurred at least once when around 260 BC Ashoka famously renounced war and conquest. He was a warrior, had taken over so many kingdoms, brutalities, killed people, but then he renounced the war and conquest. What is the synonym to renounce? Yes, Violet, it's the opposite of dystopia. Okay? What is the synonym to renounce? Abandon, forbid, It's abandoned. Yes, it's abandoned. The answer is abandoned. Correct. Yes. Meaning of utopian, dystopian. Ragini, utopian is a perfect word. Dystopian is a word full of atrocities, crimes. There's negative prefix, okay? So utopian is the perfect word, dystopian is the opposite of that. The answer is uh, abandoned. Now, read this page because the next page has a question. Read this and send me a done when you're done. Next page has an inference question, okay? Send me a done when you're done. Reciting, बच्चों reciting competition होता है क्या करते हैं वहां Send me done when you're done. Done? ठीक है चलो आगे चलते हैं in the app done. Answer this question. कोई भी कॉम्बिनेशन हो सकता है आंसर का ए बी ABC ABCD none of them all of them any combination. Answer this question. गुलशन लेट आयो क्लास में वो क्या आपने पढ़ाया था कैटेकिस्मिक क्या होता है ए BNC ANC सब रैंडम तो ए तो सबको लग ही रहा है चलिए ठीक है अब एक बार ना let's quickly skim through this part and let's see what the answer could be. So he says, I feel justified when I think about a utopian world where Putin and Bush and Blair, they apologize and they regret for the wars and crimes they've done. And he feels it's justified because Ashoka did the same. He had renounced war and conquest. Ordinary people have railed against war ever since. Massive popular protests against war have been witnessed in our own times. We have seen people wanting the war to end. We've seen that today and yesterday and in the history. But there is no other instance, to my knowledge, when a conqueror denounces, हमने लोगों को रिवोल्ट करते देखा कि वॉर खत्म करो लेकिन हमने किसी कॉन्करर को जिसने ऑलरेडी कॉन्कर किया है किलिंग्स करी हैं उसको अपोलोजाइज करते हुए नहीं देखा इसीलिए जब अशोका ने अपोलोजाइज किया और रिनाउंस किया he created history. He denounced his own actions and takes humankind in a new moral direction. You know, understand this. When I make a mistake, for example, I'm a teacher, I make a mistake and I apologize, right? Or when a student makes a mistake and the student apologizes, there's a difference, right? And for a teacher to make a mistake and then apologize for that, it takes guts. Because usually it's assumed that teachers don't make mistakes. होता है ऐसा? Similarly, जो वॉर कर रहा है और जिन पे वॉर हो रहा है जिन पे वॉर हो रहा है वो तो बोलेंगे वॉर बंद करो बट जो वॉर कर रहा है अगर वो apologetic है and he says sorry and he regrets and he genuinely feels sorry about that, sympathetic and sorry about that, rather empathetic about that, we've never seen that happening. It took a cataclysmic act of transformation. It's not easy. Yes, it was a cataclysmic act that took the transformation. For until then, he was himself a follower of the warrior ethic. Now, see, if you look at the history of India and the rulers we've had, there's a warrior ethic. जितने भी वॉरियर उनका एथिक है कि भैया लड़ाई करनी है, वॉर करना है, कम व्हाट मे, destruction will happen, but you shouldn't be bothered with it. Agreed? That's what is taught to a warrior. That's at least what was taught to a warrior. In the pre-Ashokan elite culture, hyper masculine virtues were geologized. Oh, he's so powerful. He was the greatest, Ashoka the Great. He would conquer so many kingdoms. He was the biggest ruler we've ever seen. In the Rig Veda, Indra, the god of sky, rain, and thunder, who being strong and violent, is also the god of war. So we in Hindu mythology, we've got god of war, right? इसका मतलब हमेशा powerful को praise किया जाता था. Agreed? Now, you would like to change your answer here. Why was it a big deal when Ashoka renounced war and destruction? Of course, it was certainly that earlier nobody did such a thing, so it came as a shock. How can a warrior actually apologize and renounce destruction? Because a warrior, when he wins a war, destruction would certainly follow. So since nobody did it, it was a big thing. But out of B, C, and D, will anything else follow? Will anything else follow? He did not bring any impact in the society. Rather, society always wanted the war to end. When a warrior says that, that was impactful. So B is wrong. B cannot be inferred. No. Okay? The third one, he denounced war ethics. And the fourth one, he went against the norms of Vedas. Right? No, we should not follow. बच्चे क्वेश्चन नहीं समझ आया अली आपको, मैं फिर से रिपीट करती हूँ हिंदी में. क्वेश्चन का मतलब था जब अशोका ने ऐसा किया तो फिर ये हमारे लिए शॉक की तरह क्यों आया, हमने एक्सेप्ट क्यों नहीं कर पाए? दैट्स द क्वेश्चन. व्हाई वाज इट अ बिग डील? क्यों हमारे लिए डिफिकल्ट था? ये हमारे लिए एक्सेप्ट करना इसलिए डिफिकल्ट था क्योंकि एक तो इनसे पहले किसी वॉरियर ने ऐसा किया नहीं था. अपॉलोजेटिक अबाउट वॉर्स एंड द atrocities they had caused. ठीक है. दूसरा, वो इम्पैक्ट सोसाइटी पे नहीं लेके आए. सोसाइटी तो ऑलरेडी वॉर को खत्म करना चाहती थी, तो बी गलत हो गया. ही डिनाउंस्ड वॉर एथिक्स. एग्जैक्टली, सी भी फॉलो करेगा और डी भी फॉलो करेगा. ही वेंट अगेंस्ट द नॉर्म्स ऑफ वेदास, बिकॉज वेदास बोलते हैं आप वॉरियर हो और वॉर की एथिक्स आपको बोलती है लड़ो, एट्रोसिटीज को भूल जाओ, लड़ाई होगी तो डिस्ट्रक्शन होगा, बट आप वॉरियर हो, आपको लड़ते रहना है. ये है. और इसको उन्होंने डेविएट किया, इसको उन्होंने वायलेट किया. दैट केम एज अ शॉक टू अस. And 2 and 3, it also came as a shock to us because he had denounced the war ethics. Because until then he was a follower of war ethics. But then war ethics जो हमें वेदास सिखाते हैं उसको इन्होंने wrong prove किया. It should be A, C and D, all of that. ठीक है? B बिल्कुल गलत है. Alright, आगे बढ़ते हैं. तो आगे पढ़ो. Primordial का synonym बताओ. Primordial मैंने कराया था क्लास में, what if you remember? Yes, it is. पढ़ के एक एक वर्ड तो फिर आप खुद भी समझ सकते हो ना बच्चे. बट एडिटोरियल को अगर आरसी बना के पढ़ेंगे तो उसकी आपकी अंडरस्टैंडिंग की एफिशिएंसी और बढ़ेगी, वो आपको आरसी सॉल्व करने में हेल्प करेगा. दैट्स एग्जैक्टली व्हाट वी डू हियर. I can state that proudly, nobody else does it on YouTube. सिनोनिम बताना है पूर्वा बच्चे. सिनोनिम सिनोनिम सिनोनिम, ये क्या कर रहे हैं आप लोग? याद नहीं है? याद नहीं है किसी को सिनोनिम? Primordial is ancient, thus antediluvian. ठीक है. Palak, I'll show you. Okay? In pre-Ashokan elite culture, hypermasculine virtues were eulogized. ऋग्वेद में भी उनको eologize किया गया है. तो ऋग्वेद में जब god of war है, who is seen to be a very strong and violent, not violent, but a masculine one and a violent one, इस चीज के से अलग गए वो, तो पॉपुलर नॉर्म से अलग गए वो नॉर्म जो ऋग्वेदा में देखा गया था. Got that? Okay, so primordial is antediluvian. कोई बात नहीं, कोई बात नहीं, अब याद कर लो. एंटीडिलुवियन इज प्रिमोर्डियल, एंशिएंट. ठीक है, अब चलिए, yes, let's read that together. So with his ojas, a Sanskrit word signifying both physical strength and the power to dominate, Indra. अब देखो आगे ये जस्टिफाई हो जाएगा, आपको समझ में आएगा वो इंद्र वाला ऋग्वेद में जो क्या मेंशन था. ठीक है, he pulverizes rivals to politically subjugate the enemy. He happily destroys, crushes, splits apart, slays, breaks his spirit. Real men take Indra, the most important Vedic god, as the role model, are called Sura. That is big and strong. पहली चीज तो ये मुझे नहीं पता ये real men होता क्या है. I don't know that, but nonetheless the article says that, so let's stick to it. It says real men consider themselves to be synonymous to Indra, very big and strong and champion. They are skilled in horse and chariot combat. I mean, they are skilled in worship. They flex muscles in cattle raiding expeditions and glorify warfare. हमने इतनी लड़ाइयां जीती है, इतने wars जीते हैं. They flex it. Here, violence and conquest are a way of life. That's what we saw when Ashoka did this. That was the way of life. Invasion of someone else's territory and its occupation are considered entirely legitimate, primeval, regrettable, natural. क्या होगा? सृष्टि, it does बच्चे, it does. But then if you had to choose one, हो सकता है जो ancient है वो अभी भी impactful है, तो उसको हम obsolete नहीं मान सकते. ठीक है? Answer. It is going to be legitimate. Yes, Muskan. It's going to be legitimate. अभी तक आप war को justify कर रहे थे. That उस time पे when Ashoka did it, wars were glorified. Wars were justified. People flexed their muscles in cattle raiding expeditions. Here, violence and conquest was a way of life. Thus, war and taking over somebody else's territory was justified. It was legitimate. It was okay. The answer is going to be A. Alright? Next page. So, don't answer this. Read this page. Answer how many assumptions will follow. Any combination can follow. A, B, A, B, C, D, A, B, C, D, E, all of them, none of them. Read this and tell me what all assumptions follow here. Assumptions. I'm not asking you for synonyms. I'm asking you for the assumption question. Please listen to what I'm asking. It could be any combination. Sorry, my children, all of you are wrong. All of you are wrong. Please think again. The answer could be seen from the previous page as well. Sorry, let me justify the answer. Okay? So we see that war at that time, when Ashoka had renounced it, was horrible. War was legitimate. Yet it caused destruction. Still, human species refuses to learn from Ashoka's example. Alternatives to organized violence stares us in the face, but powerful rulers carry on regardless. We know organized crimes will result in atrocities. We've seen that multiple times in the past. For example, what happened in World War One and Two. Yet powerful rulers carry on, continue with this regardless of the impact seen in the past. First, they invariably justify the cruelty. उनके पास रीजनिंग है कि ये जो क्रूलिटी हम क्रॉस कॉस कर रहे हैं ना ये जस्टिफाइड है. They offer puerile relations and incessantly reinforce the belief that war is a part of human nature and violence ingrained in our DNA. So, what all reasons do they give to justify a war? They say violence is ingrained in our DNA. It's a part of a human nature. What a puerile justification. A subtler justification of war points to the good results it begets. So people also say that wars have good results. They did not the position of women improve after the Second World War? It surely did. But World War was not the cause of that. Did war not get Europe its welfare state? Yes, it did. But the war was not a reason for that. Did it not improve longevity by improvements in education, technology, and medicine? Yes, education improved, technology improved, medicine improved. Timeline में World War II के बाद हुआ. But ये World War II इसका reason नहीं था. So of course, bad things have unintended consequences that may in the long run be good for us. This bad thing has a consequence that's unintended. The war did not happen because we wanted improvement in education, technology, and medicine, or welfare of the European state, or improving of women's stature after the war. War did not happen because of that. It was an impact of the war, but war did not intend on having that impact. Agreed? We must seek out the best peaceful alternatives to secure the good. In any case, we cannot forget that the wars are instigated by strong, ambitious men to intimidate the weak into giving up something generally valuable. Simple. Russia, Ukraine. Russia stronger than Ukraine is. Ukraine weaker. And what Russia is doing is trying to intimidate Ukraine to give up on something that's very near and dear to Ukraine, its own land, its own people. And thus, this war is happening. Wars bring devastation to the many in order to bring enormous material gain to few. इतनी sad line है कि ये जो war है ना ये benefit तो देती है but only a handful of people और devastation cause करती है to masses. तो उन कुछ लोगों के benefit के लिए ये जो massive destruction है ये क्या आप justify कर सकते हो? नहीं कर सकते हो. Now, assumptions. पहला, wars can be justified. Yes, they can be justified by these examples. People try to justify the wars. By these examples, yes, wars can be justified. Two, wars can bring good results. Of course, they can, but they can bring unintended good results. Remember that. They aren't intended. Three, people learn from the Vedas. Of course, they did. The previous page. They did learn from the Vedas. And they learned masculinity. They learned worship through Vedas. Of course, people learn through Vedas. It is an inference. A war always results in suffering. Not necessary. No, not necessary that it always results in suffering. It could result in benefit to a few as well. Wars show masculinity, or do all the wars show masculinity? Are you sure about that? Do all the wars show masculinity? What's your answer? Masculinity is strength and power and virility is masculinity. Assumption is asked, bache, Shruti, a hidden assumption. The author doesn't believe so. Thus, D is wrong. Okay? Next page. So, it is therefore painful to see our elected government pay workers lip service to peace. ये ना थोड़ा सा हमारे country पे एक sarcasm है. Not just sarcasm, it's a criticism. At international fora where we condemn acts of war and pontificate on their futility, but in the same breath we ridicule peacemakers as effeminate. इस लाइन का मतलब क्या है? कोई भी पर्सन जो पीस की बात करता है उसको हम effeminate मान लेते हैं, और जो वॉर की बात करता है उसको हम masculine मान लेते हैं. Effeminate is a man who shows qualities, not qualities, characteristics, maybe thought process, maybe the way to behave like a woman. और क्यों हम wars को masculinity और peace को effemination के साथ लिंक करते हैं? What crap is that? Our public discourse continues. So अगर हम peace को effeminate के साथ लिंक करते हैं, then what was Ashoka? Would he be linked to effemination? No. Our public discourse continues to be replete with the glorification of machismo. That is macho, powerful, manliness, bravery, virility, all are synonyms. हम wars और उनकी justification को और उनकी glorification को macho मानते हैं. Ironically, human awareness against the inevitability of war has grown at a time when the frequency and scale of war has increased exponentially. I will not be surprised if not a single day in the last 100-odd years has passed without large-scale violence and destruction in one or the other part of the world. You can see that. Last 1 year, we witnessed what happened in Israel, Afghanistan, Ukraine, and the genocide that happened in Muhammad al-Bashir's country. Just going out of my mind. Nonetheless, all of these places, we can't think of any single day when we did not talk about war in the newspapers. And not a single year since the so-called long peace has passed in which the most powerful countries in the world have not bombed one or the other their received enemy. It is more than 2,000 years since we developed a well-articulated moral consciousness against war. We know that, yet humanity is nowhere near walking the talk. Tone of the author. No. Sudan was I was referring to. Yes, Sudan. And then we've got Myanmar and Ethiopia. Yes, correct. So Sudan is what I was referring to. Tone of the author here. What's the tone here? Everyone, tone? Yes, Yemen, of course. Yes, Yemen, Karthi. Yes, you're right. Cavilling? No, bache. It's berating. It's not cavilling, it's berating. Cavilling, हर छोटी छोटी बात पे गलती निकालना किसी चीज की is cavilling. I would, Violet, I would. What is berating? What does berating mean? Cavilling nitpicking होता है बच्चे. तुम कर ही नहीं सकते, तुम लायक ही नहीं हो, तुमसे नहीं हो पाएगा, देखो तुमने गलती कर दी, मैंने बोला था एक ग्लास गिर जाएगा, तुमने ग्लास गिरा दिया. That's cavilling. नहीं, यहाँ हर छोटी छोटी बात पे वो गलती नहीं निकाल रहा है. अली प्रैक्टिस करो बच्चे और ध्यान से प्रैक्टिस करो. नहीं, ये डिसअपॉइंटिंग नहीं होगा, डिसअपॉइंटेड. ओके, हो सकता है डिसअपॉइंटेड. yes, berating is to criticize, commenting is to appreciate. He's not appreciating. Illustrative was only the example where Ashoka and its relationship to the other warlords were okay. But then I just did that. Berating is criticism, commenting is appreciation, illustrative is explanatory, and cavilling is nitpicking. What is not choti baat for sure? Yeah. All right, guys. So I don't think I will be able to take the second article today, but I'm going to come tomorrow live at 10 a.m. again, and I'll take the second article from the Guardian because मेरे हिसाब से उसको miss नहीं करना चाहिए. Nonetheless, I 12:30 I'll come with the third session today on micro presentation on our BBA YouTube platform. Two, let me share today's Hindu and Indian Express in the background and let's see what's very, very important. Now, assumption वाले का आंसर बता. Yes. So assumptions में हो गया A, B, C. No, A and C. Sorry, A and C. ये दोनों follow करेगा. Because wars can bring good results, not necessarily. Because वो unintended results थे. Answer C होगा और A होगा. ठीक है? चलिए. Let's look at today's Hindu and Indian Express. And let's see what's really important. Please give me a second, guys. Got that. Sharing today's Hindu background. Ashita, you can just YouTube में सर्च बार में टाइप करो BBA बायजूस एग्जाम प्रेप. You'll find our channel. उसको सब्सक्राइब कर लो. उसमें आज के फॉलोइंग वीडियोस दिख जाएंगे आपको. ठीक है? Here we go. Let's look at the important articles we need to read today. Okay. Not taking sides. India देखो UN Assembly voting में you know what's happening. Skim through it. Yes, this is very important. Please read this in detail. This is also very important. Only skim, okay? Next page for in. Why isn't global interconnectedness halting war? Yes, skim through it. Next text and context. No, no, no. आज text and context में ये क्या हो गया? Yes, yes. Okay. तो पढ़ना मजा आएगा. Let's look at the opinions. Okay, so a cricket for our times. Virat Kohli, skim through it. I did not try to buy any jewelry. Why are they showing me jewelry ads? Okay. Counting those who qualify as EWS. Yes, read that. March 4th. No, leave that. Students returning from Ukraine must not be left in lurch. Skim. Managing the crude price pressure. Skim. Looking for an effective alternative to LPG. Now that's important. Russia's pointed reference to a nuclear war. Skim. Refugee from Ukraine want to evacuate the pets to safety. Skim. Why a war treaty is written in the 5th century BC can explain conflict in Ukraine? Yes. Yes. That's all. No, one more. The post-pandemic crisis in schooling and higher education portends a grim future for India students. Yes. Yes. बहुत अच्छा important है. That's all from today's editorials. Okay, guys? So, Shama, many. You need to subscribe to the channel to know all of that. You see the bell icon in the bottom of my video. Subscribe to that. You will see all the videos that come live every day. Okay. Winding up the class, everyone. I'll see you at 12:30. Have a very good day. God bless you.